Hey, it's Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Ariels podcast. How's it going, guys? Happy Juneteenth. It is a national holiday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. So check the show notes. There is a link for Aerial Rehab, the new 3-part video series I'm working on. It's going to go straight to inboxes. Sign up there in the show notes or on my website, and also the free mini course by Wrap Your Head Around Silks. And today we have Jodi Gonzales. So this is one of those situations where I feel like it is a responsibility of mine to do this right, because this is a story about loss. It's a story about her going through multiple tragedies and traumas and surgeries in her life. She had to have her uterus removed because of tumors, and like an incredible journey. She's an incredible woman. And I am grateful and honored to be the vessel for her story, this podcast. And I hope you guys enjoy this and feel her story. And yeah, let's meet Jodi.
Oh, hi. I need to meet her still.
It's the best. It's the best, Jodi.
It's the best of times and the worst of times.
No, it's always a mixed bag. So, okay. So Jodi, I'm actually really happy that I don't know your like current story.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Okay, so this is the Expecting Arielist podcast. Jodi is she's been an aerial hobbyist for probably a decade.
Yeah.
Has it been?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I met her a long time ago. She was a student of mine for a long time and would come to class on and off. And she's gone through a major health journey and family journey. And I just wanted to share Jodi with you. So if you'll just like introduce yourself.
My name is Jodi Gonzales. I have been doing aerial, like Carrie said, for about 10 years now. And unfortunately, yes, it's had to be on and off because I have health issues. Some chronic, some just needed to have surgeries, and all are in my abdominal areas. And so, you need your core strength for aerial. So I have rheumatoid arthritis, which is my chronic condition, which causes inflammation of my joints and for my joints to stiffen up. And so when you are in an artistic field, as we are with our aerial, your stretching is very important, and your length and your flexibility. And so that has been a trial, but it's also been a blessing because it has, I believe, and my doctors believe, slowed down my progress of my disease and preserved my joints. Stretching is so important. Strength building is so important. And being in a practice that you have to focus so much on the task at hand, or else, there's always danger involved in what we do, as you know better than most, Carrie.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is very, very much like you have to be present.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is the therapeutic aspect of aerial, I believe. It gives us a reprieve and a focus and something that we can make accomplishments and progress. And that builds confidence. And the moment I touched a silk, I fell in love. Literally, it was just, I knew I found my thing. And I try to teach my kids all the time, find your thing. Not everybody is a gym rat. Not everybody belongs in a gym lifting weights. Not everybody is a runner. Not everybody is whatever. But everybody has something that will speak to their soul. And for me, I'm so grateful and I have so much gratitude that I found aerial, because that speaks to my soul.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
Yeah, that's what I practice. And I do it every day, even though it might be light. There's been times where I've been so physically and emotionally broken that the most I can do is touch my silk, or touch my lyra, or touch my hammock, or touch my rope. I have, or trapeze. I have to. It's as simple movements of that is confronting, and then I build on top of that, and connecting, and then before I know it, I'm flowing. And there's been periods where I've had to take quite a bit of time off, and muscle memory is a beautiful thing. We really, our bodies are incredible machines and creatures. And even though I've had to take time off, especially recently, I started inverting and doing my aerial practice again. And it's so much easier than I ever anticipated. And so it still is my flow, and it still is my happy place. And I'm sure that's because I've kept with it for so long, even though it's been on and off, right?
Yeah. Okay, so Jodi, the last time I saw you in class was many years ago in my class. Yep. Can you remind me and then tell our listeners what happened there where I didn't start to see you? Because I don't remember the whole story, and I know it was really, really a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. So the last time I really was in studio and training, I have a rig at home, which I'm very fortunate to have. But the last time I was training in studio with you and doing a performance, one of the shows, I had just spent 2 weeks at Cedars-Sinai with my son, Tyler. And I slept there, and I was living off of a little recliner chair for 2 weeks. And I went, the day he was released was the night of the first performance. And, it's hard when you're worried about your child. Oh, I'm going to try to get through this without crying.
No, it's just, just be you. It's.
Yeah. So, but I did it, and I was proud of myself. I was not in the shape that I was used to being in. It was a hammock routine. It was done over at the studio.
Diavolo.
I did it. I was proud of myself. The first show was brutal. Brutal. But then I got my flow, so that I was really happy. Just forcing yourself out of your comfort zone sometimes brings, like I said, brings confidence and brings peace. And we don't always have to be at our best, because we are not always at our best. So I did that, and it was emotionally very challenging. You can imagine just being in a hospital for 2 weeks with your son. Yeah. So that is when I kind of took a step back. That's when things got to get really challenging with my son. My son's name's Tyler Trey Perkins, and he's an incredible kid. I say kid, but he was 24 years old at the time. At Cedars, he was 21. He'd gotten sick at 21 years old with thyroid disease. He had to go through radiation, and your thyroid regulates your weight, along with a lot of other very important metabolic systems. And he gained a lot of weight quite quickly. He went from 135 pounds at 5'10" to over 200 pounds in a matter of 3 months.
Oh, wow. That's really fast.
Yeah. And very hard for him, because he's a skateboarder, very athletic. He's a gymnast. He got me into aerial because he was at his gymnastics training and there was this red silk hanging from the ceiling. And I was like, what is that? And that's how I was introduced to it. And Kat was actually teaching there at this gymnastics studio. And then from there, I went to this one studio called XTC. And then from there, I met Brett and Rachel and you and everyone and started training at the Loft. And that's been my home ever since. And even though I'm not in studio, I do belong to Brett and Rachel's online communities and I, your community. And I love reading. You break things down so amazing. Oh my gosh. Anybody that doesn't belong to Carrie's online, do it. Not only do you break things down so easily, the flow that you create, you're a dancer and it's just stunning. So I've been fortunate to have beautiful people, very talented people, such as yourself and Kat and Brett and Rachel to mentor me and other people that I'm forgetting their names and I apologize. You know who you are. But yeah, so that began the 3-year journey where I had to focus on trying to help my son survive. And his mental health took a turn because, when you have body dysmorphia and then you have all that weight gain, with his situation, he began to very much isolate and he had a lot of pain and both physical and emotional. And so, I was his support system along with the professionals that we were so fortunate to have him surrounded by. He battled that. He battled it hard for 3 years. And in that 3 years, he's an artist. He would do my music for my shows. Whenever I did any benefit performances, he would take the song that I wanted to, cut it, edit it, so that it fit my routine perfectly. And you couldn't even tell. He's so brilliant. And he wrote graphic novels. He created video games. He created cartoons and both for a TV series and print. He played dozens of instruments that I don't even know the names of, honestly. And they were all self-taught. He was an incredible bassist player. He was just inspirational in his resilience. But on November 19th of this past year, it just got too much for him. And he died by suicide. And so it was unexpected. And we are very close. And we spent every day together. And so through this journey, this new journey that I have, it took me a while to touch my lyra, to touch a silk. Yesterday was his 6th month. I call it Heaven's birthday. And I did aerial because I promised him that I wouldn't let that moment impact my life to where he would be sad. And he loved me doing aerial. And right before he passed, I was working on a routine for him. I have the music. I have certain points within that music, but I'm going to finish it for him. And so again, it's my solace. It is my peace. It is my healing space. It is a reminder of beauty for me. And I just have so much gratitude for having my aerial practice. I really do. It's a lifeline.
Oh my goodness, Jodi. I did not know this. I saw your Facebook post when he passed, but then I didn't know all the stuff in between.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Told a lot of people. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
me too.
Stop.
Me too. It's been, this is the first time I am really talking to somebody about it. I've touched on it with Sita a bit. She's another aerialist. For those of you that don't know her, she's extremely talented, and she's been one of my coaches as well. And she's been present for me and just beautiful. And I've told her a little bit about it. I don't talk about it very often. It's still very, very open wound. Aerial has also given me an outlet that I'm creating. I am creating a scholarship for Thai, for people that don't, therapy is so expensive. And, there are various therapies and they are all very expensive. And I know there's social programs, but there's not enough. And there's not enough to go around. And so one of the things I'm planning currently is to have a black tie event and ask some of my aerial family to do a benefit performance and have the proceeds go to scholarships for people that are struggling with mental health and that don't have the resources that they need. Even with the resources, it's hard because they have to want that. But I think that they have to not want that. Let me take that back. They have to be healthy enough to be able to receive that, if that makes sense.
I am glad that it's becoming more in the mainstream to really talk about it, because I think we talk about our physical health all the time, but mental health is, everything. If you can't function in your brain and, I struggle with anxiety, and compared to other mental health issues, it's not that big of a deal, but it affects my life in a gigantic way.
Yeah. And it is a big deal. And don't take that away from yourself. Like, I don't ever, the thing that pains me the most is when I talk to people and they're struggling with something, but they diminish it because it's not as bad as, I liken it to a little kid that has stubbed his or her toe very badly and it's bleeding. And that's the worst pain that they have ever felt in their life. That's the worst pain they ever felt in their life, period. Right? Does it matter that somebody else has a compound fracture? No. What matters is their experience, right?
Yeah.
So I really want to put the message out there to not minimize. Do not think that anybody that's listening that struggles with this in any shape or form, and most of us do. We, as aerialists, I believe, choose such an extreme artistic outlet because of what we talked about. We can't think about anything else when we're up there. And there's a reason why that's our solace, right?
Yeah, because it forces you. There's no, like, even in yoga, my mind just wanders. Even if I try. Yeah. But not with aerial.
Yeah. You're up there. You gotta do the proper wraps. You got to make sure that you're set up for your drop. You got to make sure, you have to make sure of that. And yes, it becomes second nature in a lot of times. And that's when our flows start. And that's when beauty happens. But you're still in the present. You're still in an elevated state. Some people refer to it as the zone when we're able to get there. We're not always in that zone, but we always have to focus. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jodi, you were in a supportive role for many years. Were you also working?
Yeah, I work full time. I do real estate and I do mortgage lending. And do benefit performances whenever possible because I believe in giving back to the community, and that's how I was able to give back to the community. And a wife, a mom, a caretaker. My dad also passed 7 months before my son passed. And I'm a daddy's girl. And that too was unexpected. So it's been quite a year. Two of the closest people, some of the closest people in my entire life, for my entire life, have passed on. When you go through things like this, the only way that I can talk is from the heart. Fluff pieces and, I don't have that capacity right now. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My purpose in life is messages and help and comfort and to let people know that they're not alone. And, I'm going through intensive therapy.
Yeah, Jodi, I wanted to ask you because I have this memory that you were going through some major health stuff too.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that? Because
I had, they think I have. Well, I've been confirmed to have rheumatoid arthritis, but they're thinking there's something else going on because my body just keeps developing tumors. And they keep having to take out organs. And there's only so many organs you have, right? And they're being impacted by, I just grow tumors. And the type of tumors that I grow tend to be estrogen causing. And then what happens with estrogen when you have too much estrogen is it can cause weight gain. And, in our practice, it's not even a matter of, okay, how much do I weigh? It's, okay, how much I weigh is how much I have to lift, And I also have body issues, So I had to get my gallbladder removed. I had to get my ovaries removed. I had to get my uterus removed. I had to get my cervix removed. I had to get my cervix rebuilt. So that's all in my core, right?
Oh my God, Jodi, how many surgeries was this?
Yeah, a few. And then they recently thought I had breast cancer because there's growths in my breast, but those fortunately are benign, and I just have to watch it. But this is just what my body does. And, I was on immune suppressants for many, many, many years because the reason why this is happening is I have autoimmune, and my immune system recognizes my body as foreign objects. And so it attacks it. And so that's why everything kind of goes haywire. But I've stopped my immune suppressants and I'm controlling it through diet, through mindfulness practice. I do not eat sugar. I do not, and any form that my body can relate that to. I'll eat berries, nuts. I will not eat bread. I will not eat potatoes. I will eat rice very sparingly. I have to be very careful. I was vegan for many years. I cannot be because of the vegan meats that are involved, and I need those for sustenance. So I've had to make diet changes, and that has really helped my body.
Because those foods created inflammation?
Yes, that's correct. So I make sure that I eat foods that only do not cause inflammation. So I have learned by trial and error what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And it has really helped regulate my weight, regulate the clarity of my mind, because it would cause inflammation in my brain, and I wouldn't be able to think clearly, which is not good. And then learning routines was harder, right? Working's harder. Everything's harder when when your brain isn't working
well,
properly.
And you have a very numbers related job.
Yes. So it was critical that I figure it out. And for me, immune suppressants, I kept failing. I have been through dozens. And they had their own risks. One of them debatedly created a heart attack. I had a heart attack and I was in the hospital.
Jodi!
And
oh my God.
I mean, Carrie, it has been, I haven't told anybody all of this. My family is the only one that knows, because
I'm sure it's so much.
It's so much that I felt like everyone would think this chick is wild. There is no way that all of this could possibly be a continuous pendulum in her life for years. But you know what? Like I said, after Ty, I'm all about honesty. I can't fake things anymore. This is me in my raw form.
Jodi, how old are you now?
I just turned 50 this year.
Wow. Okay. Big birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
So, heart attack. I mean, what did that feel like?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So the doctors were telling me, do not go. But, I have a personality that if somebody says I can't do something, I'm going to damn well do it. I hope that word's okay. But
no, you can swear all you want on this podcast.
Okay. But so I went on this Grand Canyon backpacking trip with another aerialist, Elise. And she used to train at the Loft. She's since moved, but she's brilliant. She's beautiful. She's talented. She's amazing. And she was so gracious and came along with me and some of my other friends. And we had to backpack down the Grand Canyon. Well, the second I put my backpack on, I could not breathe.
Oh, man.
By the end of so I had to helicopter down. So my hiking down the Grand Canyon ended up being a helicopter ride. But I was trying to hike back and I just kept throwing up and I couldn't breathe. So they helicoptered me out.
So how long did you try to hike before you realized that you couldn't do it?
The second I put the backpack on, my knees buckled. By the time I got to the hospital back in Los Angeles, I couldn't carry a water bottle.
Okay, so obviously time is of essence when you're having a heart attack, right?
Yes.
So how long? Because they can't treat a heart attack. Like how?
They couldn't. I was in an Indian reservation at Havasu Falls. They stuck me. They couldn't do anything for me. So they stuck me in a dirt under a shaded tree while I waited for the helicopter. And then when I got back to LA, they ran all the tests and they saw that, I guess there's a blood test where it shows that you have a heart attack. It releases certain chemicals. So they saw that I had that. And I spent, I don't know, a week at Huntington or something like that. And I had to just kind of rebuild and recover. I didn't need any surgery. I was on medications and blood thinners, and I don't even know what all they did to me, in all honesty. There's been too many things.
Is your heart muscle damaged to?
After I got the vaccine, and I know this is controversial and I do not need to be.
No. I remember you posting this, but it's not controversial. It's you are a very specific body. So
yes, I am one of, and even the head of cardiology at Huntington said I am a rare case, and unfortunately, I cannot get the vaccines anymore. I took one vaccine. I was very nervous about it.
You're talking about COVID,
right? Correct.
Right, because your risk of, like, if you got COVID, that would be really, really, not good for you, which is why you decided to do the risk.
As well as I was starting to go back to the loft. This was after my dad passed. He died from myocarditis. They didn't realize at the time, he also had a heart attack before and heart issues. They didn't realize at the time that the vaccine causes myocarditis in a rare few and pericarditis in a rare few. My dad got myocarditis. That's fatal. He died. I didn't realize that it was the vaccine that did it. And so I got my vaccine a month or so later after my dad passed. And I got pericarditis, which is fluid around the heart.
And this was after your heart attack?
Yes, this was after. But I think that it happened not only because of everything that I have going on physically and medically, but also because I had that pre-condition. Right?
Right.
So you asked if it impacted my heart. I can do so many things. I feel strong. But I can tell that if I do something or introduce something that causes strain on my heart, it will react now. And so it did. And I spent another week in the hospital with the pericarditis. And it took me, probably a month to be able to really walk very well. I couldn't breathe very well. It was tough. It was a tough go of it. And then my son died, so for me now to be getting back to my aerial practice, I have so much gratitude for it. And for you reaching out to me and asking me to share my story, Carrie, is so kind and so thoughtful and so beautiful and therapeutic for me. It's making me confront talking about this stuff that I've hidden for so long.
Well, Jodi, I appreciate you saying that, but honestly, it's like everybody I ask to do this, it's because I feel like the worldwide audience of our community needs to hear it. That's why I ask the people who I ask, because these stories are diverse and heartfelt and heartbreaking. And, I don't really call myself what's it called? Like, out of all the aerialists that we know, I don't really call myself anything but more of a curator. Like, I like to put things together.
You're amazing at putting things together, but also you're gorgeous when you do it.
Thank you. But Jodi, I wanted to say, number one, that I know that, especially in your Facebook post, that you're like, I know this is controversial, but it's not when it comes to, like, there are medical reasons. They're called contraindications for all types of medical procedures, including vaccinations. Like, I had to do a lot of thought myself, because when I was in my early 20s, I had not one, but two random bouts of Bell's palsy.
Oh my gosh.
Which is where you just like, if you have a cold, like a virus, like the virus attacks the nerves in your face instead of, yeah. And I had it twice within the same year when I was like not even 21 yet. And there's no reason. It just happened twice, but then never again. And so I haven't since then, because by the time I was 20, I had most of my like childhood vaccines already in my body, right?
Right.
So I hadn't had to be faced with the decision of getting a vaccine again until COVID.
Yeah.
And so when it first came out, I was like waiting a little, because I was like, I'm contraindicated for all vaccines.
Yes.
And so then my mom was talking to me because she wanted me to get it. And she's like, look, my friend had Bell's palsy, but he got it. I was like, how old is he? And, he's in his 70s. I was like, that risk reward, like, formula is different.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Because he is more likely to die of COVID than die of then Bell's palsy is going to affect him again. And if it does, Bell's palsy is much better than dying.
Yes.
But for me, I'm still 45. I'm still potentially performing whenever it comes up. And it was a hard decision for me. And then as the pandemic kept wearing on, and I wanted to go to work and I wanted to feel safe at work. And I have a daughter who can't get a vaccine.
Yeah.
I decided to get it. And luckily, because it's a very, I think I looked at the studies. The studies are like 0.000001, so I was like, okay, that risk reward structure works for me, and I'll go get the vaccine. Yeah. So I don't think it's controversial in all ways. I think it's become that way because of a political thing. But from a medical standpoint, there are plenty of reasons why, the vaccine for healthy people is to protect people like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why it's so frustrating when people who don't have any, if you don't want to get it, don't get it. But like, if you don't have any health issues, but then make a huge stink about choice.
Right.
It's like there are people like you who have autoimmune diseases that cannot protect themselves as easily as people like me.
Yeah. That I'm not allowed to get it. I mean, I literally.
Yeah. And your dad.
If I get it again, it can be deadly. Like I can't. If I go anywhere, I have a note. I have my card with my one notorious vaccine, but
yeah. It's hard because the thing is, a vaccine is a social thing. It's not of course the government and all governments in the world are pushing it because they're trying to. Public health and individual health is very different.
Yes.
It's all about
treating the masses versus the individual. You have to treat the masses versus the individual when you're in a pandemic or an endemic.
Or an endemic, which is what we are in, what we're in now. So Jodi, the other thing I wanted to ask you about, because I think it might be very important for this audience in case there are women out there in our community who have to undergo getting their uterus removed, their ovaries removed, their cervix reconstructed. Okay, so for you, it was not necessarily cancer. It is the autoimmune disease just rejecting things.
They found their precancerous cells, which is one of the reasons why they opted to remove everything. The good thing about uterus cancer is it's typically contained because of the uterus. It protects. It's different with ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer is a lot more rare. Again, I'm not a doctor, so please, take your own personal health into your hands. Get those checkups. Get those mammograms, get those pap smears, get all those things. Even for guys, get those mammograms. I mean, it's like we have to take proactive. And I know it's terrible and it sucks and it's uncomfortable and it's not fun and we don't want to do it. But with our physical health becomes our ability to have fun and do things that do help us in our mental health state. But it was brutal. Oh my God. I had a C-section before with Ty, and it was worse. It was so bad. So yeah, I had to walk around with a walker. I couldn't get in and out of bed by myself. It was really, really a tough thing, but I had spent years being bloated and uncomfortable and just gaining weight where I couldn't, because estrogen causes weight gain. Who knew that? I didn't know that. Holy moly. So
you mean like elevated levels of
elevated.
estrogen?
I had super, super, super high, like off the charts high estrogen levels because the tumors were causing estrogen. And super high estrogen levels will cause weight gain. So no matter what I did, I was training 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I still had a gut, and which is fine. I love curvy women, but for me, I was like, what the heck, So I'm all about body positive, and I think every shape is beautiful. I think if we all looked the same, what would be special about it, right? So I feel that's very important. But if it's something that's being caused by a medical issue, something that you're uncomfortable with, something that's causing some uneasy feeling, get it checked out. Get it checked out. And, after I had that after everything, all my female organs were gone, it was an emotional journey. I didn't feel like, am I still a woman? I'm so fortunate to have a partner in my husband that made me feel beautiful, reminded me how special I was. And having support systems around you, and family and partners don't have to be husbands, don't have to be wives, don't have to be lovers. They can be the family you create. They can be Ariel. The also thing I love about Ariel is what camaraderie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What support, what love. I mean, there is a respect that we have for each other. Anybody that does what we do has gotten hurt, has fallen. I mean, I've gotten concussions doing aerial. I've ended up in the hospital from falls, nowhere near you. But to get back up and do it is a choice. And that choice is not easy. And it's hard and it's scary. It's daunting. It's nerve-wracking. But for those that actually push through it and do it, my gosh, how powerful. And I think that that's what bonds me to the community is these powerful people that chose to pick themselves up. That's testament. And it transcends, Ariel. It transcends into life. And that's what creates an Ariel family. And that's what I love about the community. So that
you just put it in a way that like it's very hard to vocalize that sometimes for myself. And that was amazing. That I'll just quote you from now on instead of trying to come up with myself.
Good. And that's the beauty of it. Are we competitive creatures? Heck yeah, we're competitive creatures. Are we haters sometimes when somebody fucking kills a move and we're like, oh, I've tried that 100 times. Yes, but there's that love. There's that respect. There's that awe. There's that appreciation. There is that, all of that just gives a level of respect that I have for no other people that I've met, actually.
Wow. That's amazing. That's powerful the way you said that.
Oh, I'm glad. Good.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
We need to love and support each other. We're all working really, really, really hard, and we're all doing our best. And we've all been at the lower levels. We all know how hard that is. We've all been at the upper, a lot of us have been at the upper levels, and we know how hard that is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
oh my goodness,
respect one another and support one another and love one another and encourage one another and check on one another. I also like checking in on people outside of the studio, because inside of the studio is my oasis. And it's hard, for me, I love connecting with people outside of the studio so we can have these real talks, because when we're in the studio, that's our safe space. Let's go. Let's work this shit out that all this life has given us outside of this hour and a half or 3 hours or whatever that day consists of for you. 5 minutes. I don't care. Right. But then connect.
It's a reminder to me every time I go in to teach that somebody might be in there for that reason.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of easy as a teacher to get, we get burnt out we get burnt out on teaching sometimes. I get burnt out on teaching. I won't even put on anybody else. I get burnt out on teaching sometimes because I teach so much.
Yes.
And teach so many years in a row and don't really take a break. I just interviewed this woman who has 3 kids, and she comes in and that's her only 90 minutes by herself the entire week.
Wow.
Entire week. Because it doesn't really count to go to work because you have responsibilities, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and not that it's my 100% responsibility to make sure that she has a good hour and a half, but it is to a certain degree, and it makes me rethink it reminds me why I'm there, because sometimes I'm like, what am I teaching?
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't matter, because especially if you've been teaching as long as I have, and I have students for years, it's not really what I teach that day. It's the practice that I help guide.
That is right. And you know what? I think we're our own worst critics a lot of times, but Carrie, I don't know if you remember this, but there were days where my rheumatoid arthritis was really acting up.
Yeah, and your grip was really struggling, during class. I remember.
Yep, it affects my grip, especially on my left-hand side. And I have fallen because of it. And so you, on a silks class, hung a hammock up for me because I felt safer on that, and allowed me to flow when everybody else was doing silks. You were aware as an instructor and as a person, and made me feel so safe.
Oh, I'm glad.
So know that even though you might feel it's mundane and you might be going through the motions some days, you are a beautiful person, and you create a space that it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, I'm glad, because, some days I think it's probably the same as being a parent.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're thinking, oh my God, how am I doing A, B, and C in this amount of time? And the child is having their life, and you're guiding them. And Jodi, you've got older, you've been doing this a lot longer than me. It's so hard to think oh my God, this is like A, B, and C. I have to get through my day. But this child has a different experience of you all that time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of beautiful, and it's kind of scary.
Yes, it is beautiful, and it is terrifying. But what I've learned, my daughter is 32. My son was 24. And I have a bonus daughter who is 20. I've been with her father, my husband, since she was 1 year old. So she truly is my child, and she's special needs. She has autism. And, we make mistakes. I don't care if you read every parent book out there. The fact of the matter is each one of our children are different. And not only are each one of our children different, by the time we perfect or somewhat find our footing on a stage in the life that they're in, they grow up into a different stage and we have to start all over and figure that stage out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'm about to.
Yeah, you can't parent an infant the same way you parent a toddler. You can't parent a toddler the same way you parent a preteen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're constantly as parents trying to morph and figure this stuff out and making so many mistakes. But what I have realized is it comes from love. And as long as it comes from love, and as a mother, it inevitably comes from love. It can come from frustration and it can come from exhaustion, but we love our child. And when we love, we're doing the best that we can at that moment, at that time. And sometimes the best we can is sitting there watching cartoons for a couple of hours with our kids because we have no more to give. But you know what? That's still giving. Sometimes it's laying down with them when they're taking a nap and holding them and taking a nap with them. And that's love. And that's great parenting. You know what's great parenting? Is being present. That's all. That's parenting. That's what children need. They need to know you're there. We are flawed. We're all flawed. Let that go. Be present.
Oh, that's so hard for me to do, Jodi. I like my friends really, they're just like, you're a perfectionist. I'm like, no, I'm recovering. They're like, no, you're not recovering yet. I had somebody say that to me yesterday. She's like, you're not recovering yet. FYI. I was like, like my child right now is on my phone. She's on a device right now because I'm going to put her in daycare so I don't have her on a device. No, she's just with me.
But
and I have to get work done. And these conversations are really important. And even if I was just on my computer, she's not always on device, but sometimes she is. And, it's always in the back of my mind, like, oh, I really wish she was just playing by herself. But, yeah. So I think, it goes in my mind all the time, but it's like, you got to
she's going to be in school before you know it. And she's going to have her social situations and she's going to have all of that. You're doing everything you need to be doing. That's it. That's it. And this is coming from a mom who has tried every side of the coin possible. And some can say lost. But in that process of forgiving myself, I have come to that realization. There, throughout my anger and my groundings and all of those things, it was all love. I needed them to be strong. I needed them to understand that life is hard, that it's not always fun, that there's consequences, that it's mundane, that it's all of these things. And so what we create as parents, I mean, it's a buffer to the harshness of life. So it's okay that it's all of those things too, because you're preparing them for a life that isn't rooted in love. You're giving your child strength through all of those things, because better come from you and get those calluses made than not having them be able to handle it without you. Does that make
Jodi,
sense?
no, you're like, in another life, you're a therapist.
Aw.
I feel like, I don't know, your friends probably might agree with me.
I feel, I relate to a lot because I've been through a lot. And I've been through a lot, and in a weird, messed up kind of way, there's gratitude, because you're right. I relate to people, and I've been where people have been. Now I'm 50 years old, and I've been a mom since I was 17 years old. So
wow, I didn't realize that, but you got to do the math. And yes.
Yep. I've been a mom since I was 17, 2 weeks before my 18th birthday. I grew up in a small town where there was nothing to do except for get in trouble. And so I mastered that.
Well, Jodi, it's really interesting because I just had a conversation yesterday, or I do a lot of podcasts, right? So somebody was saying that like the transition to motherhood is so hard when you're like, when you do it at 40, 41, like I did, because you have like 20 years after high school of like basically the most freedom that you can have with only, like the only way you could be more free is if you had more money to do more things.
Right.
But like just freedom, like I can go to the beach all day because I don't have a real job.
Right.
And like I have like other types of work, but you know what I'm saying? So that transition
you only have
is
yourself to take care of. It's a beautiful thing.
And then you don't even have to do that well.
Right.
Half the time. Right. Which is what happens when you only have to take care of yourself. You end up not even doing that.
This is true.
Yeah. So for my audience out there, do you have one last piece of, they've heard what you've gone through. You've gone through you've probably gone through more than other people have gone through in 100 years.
I don't know, gosh.
But imagine somebody's going through even just one element of what you've gone through.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Call me. But I am an open book, but I would tell them to find support. And sometimes that support is yourself. And you know what I've realized is grief is not just the loss of someone. It's the loss of something sometimes, a dream, a goal, an ability. You have to mourn phases in life. And it is grief is so lonely because no one can give that loss back to you. So my dad had a saying, and I hold this dear: the only way out is through. Do not shut down those emotions. Take those times to grieve. I don't care if it's in the shower when the shower is running and you don't want anyone to hear so they can't tell that there's tears on your face. I don't care if you go on a hike and you find a remote place, or you go on a drive and you put music on and you cry safely. Wipe your eyes so you can see. But find your peace, whether that is going and hiking and looking over the ocean, whether that's, in your backyard, whether that's putting an eye mask on and listening to music, whatever that music is, or sounds, or drums, or singing bowls, whatever it is for you. Luckily, we live in an age where there's technology at our fingertips, and we just need to find a practice that brings you peace. And that peace is a seed of, and I hate this word, but I'm going to use it, healing. And that's the best advice I can get.
Jodi, why do you hate that word?
Because for me, especially after Thai, healing to me is moving on. And I read something. Sita actually got me this book. It's Okay Not to Be Okay. It's by Megan Devine, and I highly recommend that book. I have no stock options in it. I have no vested interest in it. It's just, it's a great book. And she talks about a loss. I can't relate to the loss that she went through. So whenever she talks about the loss of her husband, I replace it with the loss of my dad. I replace it with the loss of my son. I replace it with the loss of my health. I replace it with whatever I'm going through at the time. But she says, and I'm going to paraphrase, that there is life before something happens. And then society wants you to get over it and get back to a quote normal, happy life. A lot of times there is no going back, and to go back feels dirty and foreign and not natural. I've learned that I need to move forward, but in moving forward, I'm walking with my grief. I don't have to carry it. It's very heavy, but I can walk beside it, and it's with me.
Wow, Jodi.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to give you a microphone.
I'm so glad that you were the person, because I don't open up to people, and you're one of the people that I feel safe with.
I'm so, I think that's kind of my purpose in this, because we do have lighter stories on this podcast all the time, but the ones that are not, that person has to trust me with their story.
That's your superpower.
And that's a big responsibility. And I gladfully take it, because I feel like, as I said to one of my other guests the other day, there's somebody out there that you're saving their life and you don't know it, because we have a very robust aerial community here in LA. Very robust. Like you just mentioned Sita, she's one of my dearest friends, and she is one of the most soulful people you'll ever meet. She does class exactly opposite of me when she teaches. She doesn't always teach, but she'll do a shavasana at the end and read poems to her students.
Amazing.
In shavasana.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I used the word penis and vagina in class like 18,000 times. Like, I'm just like a ridiculous person. I'm just like a ridiculous person.
We have all kinds of fun conversations.
Oh my God. Fun. Every single, that's just my vibe. And we have an enormous, diverse in every way, ethnically, personality wise, emotionally diverse community here. And there are people out there who live in towns and communities where they'll have a backyard rig. Yeah. And that's it.
Yep. And
that's hard. Yeah.
That's hard.
And that's so hard, which is why Silk Stars is I think so popular and successful, because it not only gives you that instruction, safe instruction, but you have feedback, you have a community online, and that is the reason for its success. And then also, they also do an amazing job curating teachers. So, it's very important. And, these voices for other people, somebody might resonate with the story about your son, story about the vaccine stuff, story about you having to go through all these surgeries and get your female reproductive organs taken out of your body. And, I don't think we think about our organs a lot. Like I do, because I have IBS and I'm always thinking about how things work inside my body. But if things work generally, you're not really thinking about it.
That's right.
And they've taken a lot of your organs out. And after a while, I would imagine you would start thinking like, what's left in there? And
I know. I mean, come on, guys, let's get healthy.
I mean, I would, that's what I would be like. Like, are we a vessel just for our organs? No, but sometimes, like, physically, we kind of are.
Yeah. And I also believe that our mind, body, spirit experience is so connected. And it doesn't surprise me in the stress that I was dealing with as being a caregiver that my body reacted to that severely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so mindfulness practice is so important. And that can be aerial.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Oh, Jodi, I appreciate
I love
you.
Carrie.
I love you too.
You're amazing. You're a gift.
Too. Oh, you are too. And I'm very grateful. I know it's not easy to tell these stories, so I'm really grateful that you felt like you wanted to today, and our community thanks you too, because
thank you guys, and thank you for allowing me to feel safe, and thank you to my aerial community and our aerial community for being beautiful people and allowing me to want to share with you guys these very personal experiences. And I hope it helps somebody. And, you know, if anybody needs to talk, if anybody has questions, if anybody needs anything, I don't know if you can put a link or...
Oh yeah, Jodi, how do they find you on the internet?
You know, I've been kind of isolating. But I do have Jodi Gonzales on Facebook, which is my aerial page. I haven't uploaded anything for probably years because I've been kind of an introvert. I have my Instagram, which they can private message me. I also have my personal Facebook page, which is under Jodi Gonzales Zarbo, because that's my husband's name. So DM me. You guys can text me. I don't care. I mean, you can put my phone number. I'm an open book. Just if you just know, I highly doubt anybody listening here is mean, but
Jodi, I'll probably include like an email address or something for you, so people can just email you.
Yes, I have the email address too.
Thank you so much, Jodi, for coming on today and being vulnerable and sharing with us your journey. And I really hope that it resonates with some of you guys out there. And if you have kind of similar stuff going on, or you just need support, she is an amazing woman. So I'll leave her email address in the show notes. You guys can always reach out to her or me, and I can connect you to her privately. So yeah, thanks so much. And listeners, go ahead to the show notes. There is a link there for aerial rehab and also the mini course. I really appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys next time. This is Expecting Aerialist.